The answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Andy Robb.
Sunshine for today, high 33. Tonight, clear and cold, low 12. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 23. And for Thursday, cloudy with a high 37. I'm Andy Robb on AM 560. The Answer.
18 at O'Hare, 25 Lakefront, 16 this morning in Aurora. And your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Bruce sitting in for Dan this week on AM 560. The Answer.
Find holiday gift ideas for you and the family at the leading indoor shooting range, Shoot Point Blank. Check out great savings on ammo, accessories, firearms, and more. Not sure what to get? Shoot Point Blank offers gift cards, too. See shootpointblank.com for details.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Ding, 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 dun, 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 dun. Good. What day is it? God, it's Tuesday already, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, how time is flying. Amy Jacobson here, in for Dan Proft is the one and only Bruce Wolf.
Thank you.
And we have a story up north near Wausau, Wisconsin. Actually, it's in Wausau, Wisconsin. There's something incredible going on.
Amy, in Wisconsin City has on its books an ordinance against throwing snowballs at someone standing on public property. The anti-snowball prohibition exists in Wausau, but it's unclear if it's ever been enforced, WSAW-TV reports. The station spoke to Mayor Robert Milkey and a member of the Wausau Police Department who couldn't remember a time when anyone was cited for the offense. Quote, "We would address it appropriately, and in my head, I don't know if a citation would be appropriate," Officer Mason Hagenbucher said. But he added, "You never know." And yet it's on the books. And this brings us, it's the state, once again, telling us what to do.
Silly over-regulation that should be dropped. And with more on this is somebody who's living there, somebody who's living it right now, Jack Duffy, National High School Chairman of Young Americans for Freedom. And it's about Wisconsin city ordinance that targets snowball throwers. Good morning, Jack. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you, Amy?
Good. And I'm with Bruce here, too. And first of all, how old are you? So we know. Are you in high school?
I am in high school. I'm a senior. Just turned 18.
Good for you.
What high school are you a senior at?
We start with the basics, Jack.
I'm sorry?
Right. I'm attending Wausau East.
Wausau East. Are they better than Wausau West? I'd just like to know.
You know, we like to imagine.
Sure.
Oh, that's good. What, do you have a Wausau North and South, or just Wausau East and West?
How about
just East and West.
How about you get
not that big, Amy.
How about you get into a snowball fight with Wausau West on public property and stick it to the man?
Bruce, you're trying to make me a felon over here. I can't get into a snowball fight these days.
All right, so tell us about this silly ordinance and how long it's been around, and are cops really enforcing it? Because it just seems a rite of passage as a child to throw snowballs. We used to get in epic snowball fights at recess.
Oh, of course, and you guys are in the Midwest. You understand. We've got snow on the ground like 8 months out of the year. Banning snowball fights, I mean, it's like banning skiing or sledding. But yeah, the ordinance has been around since before I was even born. But it's recently gotten a lot of media traction over the last couple weeks. I don't think it's really enforced. The police department probably won't do much about it. But like you guys said, it's on the books. And because of that, we can really just say this is a ridiculous overregulation, turning our local government into a complete nanny state.
Well, the city ordinance classifies snowballs as dangerous projectiles, equating them with rocks, arrows, and other objects citizens are banned from throwing.
Right. Absolutely ridiculous.
Jack, you could poke your eye out. Haven't you seen the Christmas Story with the BB gun?
I have.
A snowball is a projectile. You kids have got to be kept in line.
Right. And the question then is that the government's role to try to keep kids in line, right? That's kind of what I was talking about with some of my friends the other day. The reason so many people still live in rural America is because we don't have a whole lot of, overregulation. And when ordinances like this are passed and kept on the books, it really takes away from why, small town America exists, which is, the idea of personal responsibility and independence.
So what are you and Young Americans for Freedom doing about it? Are you guys doing anything about it? Have you wrote legislation? Have you talked to any of your lawmakers or city councilmen or women?
Well, we do a lot of campus activism at YAF, so it's a lot of, talking with high schoolers about issues, not so much, campaigning for certain ordinances to be passed and whatnot on the city level. But I will say on campus, we've talked a lot about it with kids my age, and they're frustrated. I think everybody realizes how silly this ordinance is. It's something that we all grew up with. And being seniors in high school still, we can still look at this and just see how ridiculous it is.
Jack, let me posit this argument for you. Take this one on, if you will. Well, it's not like we want a federal anti-snowball ordinance law or even a state one. Well, why shouldn't a community like Wausau do whatever it wants? Don't you believe in subsidiarity? We're not, as conservatives, we're not ideologues and totally libertarian and against any government whatsoever. Why can't Wausau itself have an ordinance like this? Or do you want to break it down so that Wausau East has one ordinance and Wausau West has an ordinance? Tell me your view on that.
Well, I suppose that would, in theory, be fine if everybody was on the same page with it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, in Wausau, not everybody, or, I would say not the majority of people are in favor of this ordinance, in which case I wouldn't argue that it's a fair ordinance.
Okay. Let me ask you about impeachment theater and what's going on right now. How do people in your area and that part of Wisconsin feel about the pending impeachment vote that's going to be taking place tomorrow?
I mean, I would like to say that a lot of people see it as another way to get the upper hand in this next election. Mm-hmm. But I would say I've heard a lot that it is backfiring on what the Democrats are trying to do with Joe Biden and whatnot. I don't know. I don't think it's completely one way or the other. I'd say it's pretty split, just like the rest of the country.
Jack, a lot of conservatives, like our former radicals, I think of Whittaker Chambers or Frank Meyer, many of the founders of National Review. But then, they were chastened by reality. I'm just wondering, were you a radical up till, say, like the age of 8 or 9? And then, of course, you suddenly turned.
No, not me. I did grow up in a political family, though, so politics was kind of always around, I suppose.
Are you all
conservative?
conservative?
Are you all Republican? Why do you have to be conservative or socialist? Are you Republicans, Democrats? Can you share?
Oh, the family?
Oh, you're showing Duffy's son. Well, that would be nice to know things like this. Hi, we love your
flip over
dad.
the cards.
Well, did you know that it was
I
Sean
didn't know it was Sean Duffy's son. I didn't know.
I'm so sorry, Jack. We had no
Which
idea.
number are you?
Yeah,
15, 16?
I'm number 2.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you're number 2, so you're higher up.
So is number...
So they know your
higher
name.
All right.
Yeah. No, but how many Duffys
Right.
are? And then, it's in your mom's...
Oh, it's in your blood, for crying out loud. Okay.
Well, no. But you grew up, obviously, you're from
Show
a Republican
prep.
family.
Show prep. I feel like Larry King, who never knew who his guests were. Hello, who are you? What's your name? Those were the first 3 questions he would ask. Oh, my God. There goes
what's it like in the Duffy home? When you
The
guys
Duffy
have...
home, it's a little crazy. There's a lot of people, but it's fun.
Is there a house rule against throwing snowballs? Or do you
No.
Are you object against that as
They're
well?
nonconformists at home. You
No,
guys
not
throw
at all.
snowballs, right?
It's hard enough to keep our family from throwing snowballs at each other. How can you enforce that on the city level?
Exactly.
That's how we solve problems around here, right?
Oh my gosh! But you guys have political discussions though during dinner time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how does it go?
We don't agree on everything. So it can get a little heated, but it's fun to push back on one another. And mom and dad are good debaters, that's for sure.
Oh, that's great. Well, Jack Duffy, wonderful to talk to. It's so refreshing.
You're
to
too
talk
even
to somebody
keeled, Jack.
who's
I didn't rattle
smart.
you one bit.
He's
Yes.
smart and he's in high school. Where are you going to go to college next year? Have you any plans yet?
We're looking all over. I'm hoping to get into Madison, but we'll see. We'll see.
What do you want to major in?
Political science, right?
I'd like to major in economics. and maybe double major with some media production or fine arts, but we'll see.
You know what, Jack? There's always Iowa. Have you applied to University of Iowa?
I have not. Should that be on my list?
Yes, it should be on your list. It's an excellent school.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
I
Jack
will
Duffy.
definitely look into it.
You're the best. We can follow you on
Thank you,
Twitter at Jack X Duffy, correct?
That's right.
All right. You're the best. Appreciate your time this morning. Sorry. And please give your parents our best, and especially your mother.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Thank
Thanks for having
you.
me on.
And Jack joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcast of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Rick Blavelone, second generation owner and CEO of Marketing Innovators and a customer